Yo, 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 what's good? What's good? It's STORMYBMAN, and I am back. Welcoming you to the post-fight show with STORMYBMAN for this Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. This is the post-fight show for Buatsi versus AZEEZ, the light heavyweights. The fight just wrapped up. The fight went to a decision on Peacock TV, Sky Sports, live from the UK, the OVO Arena. Another one in the bank. Listen, there's a few things to unpack here about this particular fight. Great performance by both men, young light heavyweight hopefuls in a division that has talent, but a couple of stars that are at the top of the sport in the division that are currently unified and WBA champion, Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol, who will be getting it on early this summer to become undisputed between the two. One will be, and maybe the winner of this fight, who happened to be Joshua Buatsi with a unanimous decision victory over Dan AZEEZ, will have an opportunity before the year ends to fight for the undisputed title. But as I was saying, there's a lot to unpack here, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. I did not watch the Conor Benn fight, so I don't even know what's happening with that. I have no idea what the outcome is. Conor Benn does not take precedent over men who represent the sport more valiantly, as well as with a cleaner reputation both in and out of the ring. Okay, and these men do not benefit from someone trying to make them a star, ass over anything. And I'm sorry, I'm just gonna put it out there like that. So as far as I'm concerned, Conor Ben can kick rocks, because Stormy B Man is not focused on him or whatever it is that Matchroom and he have lined up. But these two men represented boxing outstandingly. Let me just say, first of all, my hat is off to both. These two men, as I talked about going into this fight with my breakdown video, I did not even pick a winner between the two, because there were aspects that they were going to bring to this fight of the unknown, which you can go, it will be unaccounted for. And they all showed up. There were several. First of all, I was uncertain whether or not Joshua Buatsi would enter this fight with Virgil Hunter still in his corner, because the last time I saw him, Hunter was there, but he had a long layoff, so I wasn't sure if Hunter was still working with him, and he was, which is excellent. Secondly, Buddy McGirt was working with Dan AZEEZ. Now, when I saw that, which I don't know how long McGirt has been working with AZEEZ, but McGirt is a trainer that I think he's become like a gun for hire, and there is something being lost in the teaching process with McGirt that drops him a couple of rungs on the ladder, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes down to teaching and getting fighters to implement what he's teaching. But neither way, it should be said that this was a battle between the corners as well, because these two men are close friends. I can't stress that enough. I talked about it going into this fight. It turns out that Joshua Buatsi happens to be a highly religious man, and the two of them having the type of relationship that they had, it was going to be difficult for them to mess over the friendship that has existed for so many years. And the way that they competed, it was quite admirable, because the two men brought to the ring something that is sorely needed and missing in the sport of boxing. That's sportsmanship and the knack to be competitive without being nasty toward your opponent. And I have to say something, hindsight being reflective of a different era, this is the type of competition that you were supposed to see many years ago, going back to 1996, when Tyson and Holyfield fought each other. They were two men who had known each other since the amateurs. Holyfield, a heavily religious man himself, Tyson being the man of charisma and had the heat of the fan base because of his exciting matches that produced knockouts. And when these two competed, they were going to compete at the highest level for the WBA heavyweight championship. And things did go south going into their rematch. But as I said, these two men tonight were exemplary in what they displayed. Even when the bout ended, they showed us something. That is the kind of thing I like to focus in on and dial in on, because character always rises to the top. Lack of character will find you detoured and off track, off the path toward an objective, toward success. You need to be shown this on a more frequent basis, but in a corrupt sport like boxing, it's hard to get that on display. So these two men, again, I shined the light upon them for what they brought. It was an engaging fight. I don't know what was going on with the dampness in the middle of the ring, but the referee did not do his job as far as getting that ring cleaned up. These men were slipping from the 4th round on into the end of the fight. They were slipping. Their feet were coming from under them for the entire fight almost. And he did wipe the ring with a towel on an occasion or so, but he could have done a better job. One of the knockdowns that Buatsi scored against AZEEZ late in the fight was a total slip, and the other was a punch that landed and he went down. He was probably going to go down from that punch anyway, but his feet came from under him again a second time because the ring was slippery. But all of that aside, these two men put on a great show. There were moments where they stood their ground and battled it out. They were beckoning one another in. Come on, come get some. And it was exciting. And it was a technical fight as well. Both men were utilizing the jab. Both men were operating from safe distances and then in close. There were in the trench moments. You could hear Buddy McGirt yelling at Dan AZEEZ, "Dan, where you going?" Because Dan AZEEZ was moving around a little bit too much for McGirt's liking. But see, I'm going to say this. If he was doing that in the fight, he's been doing it in sparring. So you don't wait till fight night. This is what I was saying about McGirt. And I don't know what's happening with him as far as his teaching and everything, because Dan was more than capable of doing what was being asked of him. But if you're not asking of him in the gym and where it becomes a practice and a habit, you can't expect him to do it on fight night. Absolutely. So with those things being said, I'm going to go out here to my chat and see who's in the building this evening. Welcome, everybody. I appreciate those who are stopping in to check out and tune in to the post fight with Stormy B Man. We got Stephen L, the Mac, out there saying salute, Sensei. My brother Drew Titan LLC is in there saying tuned in. Jimmy Bernard is back saying salute, Sensei. What's good, chat? Snoopy Mac is out there saying that Stormy B Man salute. Universal Truth is back saying salute, Sensei. And Antonio MMA is out there saying salute, Sensei. Shawalai is out there saying salute, Sensei. Stormy B Man in chat. Right back at you, Queen. Sylvester is out there saying Stormy B Man salute. What's good with you, Sylvester? How you doing? Messenger 215 back with us saying salute to the channel. Right back at you, man. Salute to you. Antonio says Conor lose to any top 10 welterweight. He's trash. He could stay over in the UK. Well, if that's, a thought for him, guess what? I have none at this time. I'm talking about Joshua Buatsi and Dan AZEEZ. Yeah. Joseph Townsend is back saying salute, Stormy. Right back at you. And Drew is saying salute to the chat on the road. Antonio says, Sensei, why don't the trainers work together? What do you mean, Antonio? I need to know what you mean by that particular question before I just throw out an answer. So I want to know what you mean by that. But yeah, there was something that I noticed about Buatsi in this fight. Joshua Buatsi in this match found his left hook, people. He found his left hook. And I have to say, admittedly, I am happy that Virgil is still working with him. Because when I saw that bout with Craig Richards, the left hook was absent. And I was like, why is this man not throwing any left hooks? So, the left hook was very effective in this fight. There's a possibility when he fought Richards, maybe the shoulder was hurt or something and he couldn't execute that punch. But it was noticeably absent in that fight. But tonight, he exercised using that. And what I noticed about Dan AZEEZ was not busy enough. He needed to get off more shots, and he was not punching with enough volume. He wasn't letting his hands go enough. I don't think conditioning was a part of that. I think safety and well-being was more a part of it, as he found himself getting shots off and moving around or even moving away instead of running numbers, as the coaches like to say. So if you're not going to run the numbers, the guy who is landing the cleaner, crisper shots, and in this fight it was Joshua Buatsi, he's going to be out front. So you offset that with activity, and Buatsi has had trouble with conditioning in second halves of fights. So if Dan had upped his output, he could have possibly made the scorecards a lot closer. I don't know about gaining the victory. There was something missing from him that would prevent him from winning this particular fight. And it's about the temperament. The temperament wasn't there for him. Buatsi was all business, and he wasn't taking Dan lightly at all. But Dan seemed to be a little bit hesitant. Maybe their friendship got in the way or something like that, but who knows? But it was noticeable. I noticed it, and possibly maybe some other people may have noticed that as well. Antonio is saying, why trainers work together in the gym when it comes to a fighter? Because the trainers today need help. So outside of ego and pride, what stops a Derek James from working with a Bomac, for instance? Well, let me say this. Your mentioning of ego and pride is spot on, because when you're capable, you should never feel threatened by someone else in the same business, because you're capable. But if you feel that there are weaknesses in your game, in what you do professionally, you may feel the threat of someone else being in close proximity, working alongside, because they may show you up. But there's a better way to look at things than that. You can look at things as you can learn from anyone. You can gain ground from learning that which you do not know from he who may know something you do not. See, that's a limitation that man places on himself, and a restriction that prevents man from excelling. Yeah, that it's as simple as that. So you basically answered your own question. Remember the promotion leading up to Spence versus Crawford, and Derek James spoke disrespectfully of Brian Bomac McIntyre? He spoke of that man as if the man was just a large-sized man that wasn't capable of doing what he does as good as he does, or as well as he does. Well, after the match, it turned out that what Bomac had said leading up to the fight rang true. And if you look at what's happened with James since, Anthony Joshua has put him down without officially announcing it. And he's had Mel Charlo lose. And Frank Martin had a poor outing in his last match, but he's looking to come back soon. There are things to be said. But the whole point of it is that you can learn from anyone. I was in a gym with men who were in their late 70s and early 80s, and some in their 60s, their mid to late 60s. And I'm working with people and doing some things in the gym, and those men will pull me to the side and ask me, young man, where you get your boxing knowledge from? Because when I was first starting out, I was in my early 20s. And they were asking me, where you get your boxing knowledge from? Because there were things that I was doing, advisements that I was giving to the guys working in the gym. There were strategies and tactics I was telling them, and they were like kind of in awe of my knowledge, being such a young guy and had never fought professionally. But I had studied some martial arts growing up, and I understood the principles of combat. And I used the application of my experience, which was very minimal, to my understanding and what I had taken in, and I applied it. I treated it as a science, and that's where that was root from. And I got a tremendous amount of respect from these men. Some of them are no longer here. And it always touched me and made me feel good about what I was doing, because they were more than experienced, more than capable. But I still looked to pick up every bit I could being in the gym with them. And just to hear them tell stories and to talk about strategies and fights and breaking them down, I was like a sponge. And that's what happened with myself working with these men. Salute to my brother, 78 Sports TV, out there with the super chat donation. He says, salute Stormy and the chat. Salute to you, General. Appreciate you stopping in. Appreciate you stopping in. Antonio says, he spoke ill of the entire team, and Bomac always gives credit to the guys that help him train the fighters. But it sucks, man, that the quality of boxing could be so much better. It could be better, Antonio MMA, if you weed out the trash. See, there are a lot of guys that are out there, man, that people just need to, when I say people, I'm talking about managements and fight teams and gyms, need to just whisk those guys away. Just like you get a splinter and you pull it out, you know, from aggravating you. Get rid of these trash trainers, man. They'll get someone killed out there. Just like that guy that was working Gerald McClellan's corner when he went over to the UK to fight Nigel Benn. He couldn't see there was something wrong with Gerald. He couldn't read those things. Emmanuel Stewart wouldn't have never allowed Gerald to go that far in that fight knowing that it was something wrong with him. And Emmanuel knew some things. But see, it's very difficult to talk about certain aspects of this, because when you don't know the sport from that side, when you don't know the nuances of what transpires in the gym with teaching and cultivating and developing, it could sound very heavily critical. But those who are out there, the trainers and coaches who can hear my voice and hear what I say, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And the real good coaches are never going to slam the bad ones. They're not. There's something to be learned from everyone. Jared 011 Green, what's happening with you? What's good? See you out there. 704 Joe, what's good? But this was an excellent fight. Very technical. I could see where Buddy McGirt was losing the grip on Dan AZEEZ out there. And like I said before, I wonder how close with AZEEZ he has worked. I wonder if he been with AZEEZ throughout the entire camp, or did he, like some trainers were known to do, come in and just lend his expertise with a few weeks, a couple of weeks, or something like that, because that's been known to happen as well. A trainer really has to get into the psyche of his fighter. He has to be able to break down what his fighter is experiencing, what prevents him from letting his hands go, what prevents him from getting off, what prevents him from being aggressive. Those are things that you learn over a period of time of working really close with someone. And you can't just learn it necessarily in one training camp. But this was a quality fight. I knew it would be. And like I said, my hat is off to the men with their performances and also the respect that they showed for both their craft and for one another. Plenty to unpack there, plenty to build upon. Great representation. See, some people don't see that, but I see these things. There was so much, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Now AZEEZ can go back to the drawing board, and he can come back better as a result, because I'm certain that he realized that he fought with limitations, whereas Joshua fought limit free, and that was the difference in their fight. Salute to Dom Gino, who just subscribed to the channel. Dom Gino, welcome to the STORMYBMAN channel and family. We call our subscribers the Storm Trackers, and welcome. You see here with what we do around here, we talk about the sport of boxing, and we talk about it through the lens of coach experience and intellectual aspect of what boxing is all about, the cerebral. Then we have kung fu films that we review and talk about. Sometimes we talk about food with Dine and Dish. And then, just as we had the other day, we talk music with Beats with Sugar. So welcome to the channel. There's something in the bag for everybody. But trolling is not accepted, it's not allowed, and it's ousted. So if you want to come over here with disrespect for yourself, as well as trying to be disrespectful to the channel or the members and subscribers, you will be quickly shown the exit, because this is no nonsense over here. That's not ego. That's just putting down the law of the land for discipline. I've been nicknamed the sensei, and when a sensei presides over, there has to be a sense of order for the instruction to be administered, the message. And so we don't accept distraction with that. So welcome. Appreciate you. Jared 011 Green, what's happening with you? I see you out there. So these two men were battling, and there were good things that AZEEZ was doing. He has a great up jab that is like a it's like an off-timed jab, and it's a pulverizing jab. He needs to learn how to make that his weapon in a fight for controlling the action. When he was banging Buatsi with that punch, Buatsi did not like that at all. But Buatsi, who always has this serious look on his face, whether he's upset or he's just complacent or whatever, he has a good poker face in there. But there were a couple of instances where I saw him wiping at his nose, and that was like, that means that jab was disrupting him. Confidence may be an issue with AZEEZ. For someone who has taken a liking to idolizing the likes of Marvelous Marvin Hagler, he needs to take something out of the pages of Hagler's career when it comes down to confidence. Without your confidence, you cannot destruct and destroy, as Marvin used to scream during his training. Yeah. This was a nice promotion put on by a boxer, but the undercard left a lot to be desired. In the co-main, they had Adam AZEEZ taking on Enoch Colson. And Polson, I said Colson. Polson. The fight was stopped in the 5th round after Polson dislocated his right shoulder, some kind of freak situation. But they had said he had had an operation on that shoulder before, so maybe it's a rotator cuff type deal. I'm familiar with that. I had a torn rotator cuff, and that bad boy can dislodge with the right type of activity and hitting it on the right type of angle. And it just so happened, as he was in an exchange with AZEEZ, that's exactly what happened. The shoulder was dislodged. And once the shoulder was dislodged, we noticed that he couldn't do much after that, and the fight was stopped. So AZEEZ comes away from that fight with a 5th round TKO due to an injury. But as a super lightweight, I need to see a little more from him, because the super lightweight division is pretty stacked. And I found him in the category of someone that you may want to see at some point again, at some point, you know. But we'll see. But this kid, Ben Whitaker, he took on Khalid. Let me get this last name correctly on this kid. Khalid Gradia. Khalid did not come to compete. And something about Ben Whitaker has these UK fans in an uproar. He's a light heavyweight prospect. But I'm not seeing what they're seeing. There's something about the UK where they love braggarts and people who showboat and are real flashy or something. I don't know if that's caught on late, because in the US, there have always been fighters like that. But they seem to give special love to guys like that. Special love. My thoughts on Ben Whitaker is when he moves up into contention, he's going to get knocked spark out, as they like to say. He clowns. He keeps his hands down. He's not technically proficient. Yes, he's athletic. He's quick. But at that level of where he's fighting and beating guys, he's doing to guys exactly what you're supposed to do to them, but he's just trying to do a little bit of it with showmanship, like a Prince Nassim or something. And I think he's into his ring entrances and all of that foolishness, and that has absolutely nothing to do with somebody who's trying to knock your head off. One hit on the chin, as Emanuel Stewart once famously said, changes all of that. And he'll find it out. Just keep watching. So when you're looking at guys who are flashy and guys who look to excite the crowd, you know what excites the crowd more than anything? Great performances. Not necessarily showboating, but being in there and being capable, being able to be proficient, being able to be exciting. That'll bring the people back. Performing under the lights. When your name is called, you go out there and you lay it on the line. That's always been impressive. Makes all the difference. But I've never really been an advocate for fighters that showboat. What I like to do is I like to show them tape of what happens when you showboat. Anthony Hembrick comes to mind. When Anthony Hembrick was out there and he was showboating and Booker T. Ward introduced him to the KO, that was the beginning of the end for him. But right now, people like that kid. And I'm not trying to crap on anybody's celebration or anything. I just know that with so much energy put into stuff like that and not put into your skills and your abilities, what you're supposed to be in the gym training for. You know, we got guys out here who be thinking about what they're going to wear in the ring, what animal they're going to have escort them to the ring, what the lights are going to look like and the sparkles and all of that foolishness. And you go out there in the first round and somebody close your eyes and turn your lights out, and you won't even remember any of that. I saw Blue Blood. Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV. He posted a short of this guy that got knocked out, and he was knocked out on his feet, but the effects of the knockout was so on the guy thought he won the fight and started celebrating. And he was the one that got knocked out. Man, that was hilarious. I don't know how I missed that fight, but shout out to Blue Blood for posting it, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. Right there. Huh? You out there getting knocked out. The ref waves the fight out. The other guy's going to his corner. They celebrating, and you start celebrating. You have been separated from your sensibilities, bro. You know what I mean? You out there pumping it up. Yeah, I'm the baddest thing ever. And they like, yo, sit down, bro. Chill. Bring the ring doctor up here. And he up there celebrating and everything. And they got to tell him, look, Joe, you lost, man. What are you talking about? I won. I knocked him out. I stopped him. No, you were stopped. Man. Hilarious. Snoopy Mac said he was in another dimension. I seen that fight. Yeah, man. Dude was like, in an alternate universe, not the 616. A knockout is really a win. Somebody tell me what in the Doctor Strange is going on here. You know how Strange be doing those spells? The sling ring and all of that. Oh my goodness. That's crazy, man. But I think that a good fight in the future would be Buatsi versus Anthony Yard. That would be a pretty darn good fight right there. I'd pay to watch that. And somebody is going to hit the canvas in that fight. And my girl, Caroline Dubois, fought tonight as well. She was the second fight on the card. Caroline ended up with a 10-round decision of her IBO title against Miranda Reyes. Reyes was tough. She was, spirited, but she lost a unanimous decision to Caroline, where Caroline basically kind of beat her up for 10 rounds. But she was tough. She hung in there. She was good enough to not let Caroline knock her out. But there are others who won't be as tough, who have bigger names. And Caroline is currently headed toward those. Can't wait to see them. But this was a night of showcasing these two men, the light heavyweights, because all the other fights on the card were pretty much just warm-ups for the main event. And it's unfortunate that they couldn't get another name or two on there. Then they announced a heavyweight fight on there, so that'll be coming up. But I don't know, man. Some of these guys need to fight outside of the UK. They really do. They need to get world experience. Just fighting in your own backyard, and then when you step outside of that element, and it's kind of like culture shock. This is why I was saying that guys like Jaron Ennis and everything, they need to go on the road. Go fight a couple of fights in the UK. They got fighters over there that'll fight you. And it's not about going over there to beat anybody up. It's about getting the experience of being in unfamiliar grounds. It doesn't do anything but help you out in the end. Travel a little bit. Stop thinking everybody got to be handed something. Yeah, that makes a difference. Makes a huge difference. But yeah, this wasn't meant to be a long stream, you guys. I wanted to come in and talk about the fight. But before we get up out of here, I want to allow you guys to hear from my man, the Focus Ball.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the focus ball now.
Yeah. So, coming to an end of another post-fight show. I look forward to that fight, and I wasn't disappointed. I thought it was good action, good competitive nature between the two men. I don't think either guy is ready for either champ at this particular time, but that doesn't mean that they don't have time to get ready between now and eventually the showdown of facing either Bivol or Bitterbeef. But yeah, I want to say salute to everybody that came out. General came through with a super chat. Appreciate that. And you know, that's what's up. That's what's up. You guys can be released on into your evening. Enjoy whatever life has to offer you out there, but not to too much extent where you hurt yourself, huh? And I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.